Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. I'm very happy. Wow, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And you know that I'm excited because I am here from the Central Africa studio of Mamlakat Broadcast Network. And wherever you are and whatever you are doing, please let me know from where you are listening us from. Let me quickly introduce myself. I am Ambassador Gabriel Mbala, and I'm here on the Central Africa studio of Mamlaka Broadcast Network. As I was saying previously, our signal is MBNK News TV, as you can see on the top of that live. Welcome again. Take a seat, take your coffee, take your tea, and stay focused on the message of the day. Let me remind you what MBNK News TV is. MBNK News TV is the channel that contrasts the worldly facts with the kingdom truth, the original truth. MBNK News TV means that all our messages are streamed in the same time on YouTube and on Facebook. You can follow us on BitChute, you can follow us on Rumble, you can find our podcast on Podbean. So follow us everywhere on your favorite network because in tagging your friend, in tagging your family, in tagging your neighbors and your colleagues, you are directly concerned by that message who are directly concerned by that message. You are spreading the gospel of the kingdom. So tag them with an arrow bars followed by the name of the person. Do it in the comment box and choose the name of the person in your comment box and choose the name of the person in your save your own life. And remember that if actually you are not on Facebook watching this video, or to share our contents in your Facebook Messenger contact list or in your Instagram contact list or any contact list that you have on and maybe in your stories, in any stories that you have. So do not forget to tag your friend. It is really important. Let me quickly refresh your memory concerning the purpose of this series about the topic who were these people, experiences that the characters of the constitutional life on the financial, family, social, political, economic, and other levels. So today we are talking about two special characters. We are talking about Jacob and Esau. So today is Jacob versus Esau. What was happening? Who were there? And today, to understand more about these two enemy brothers, we will expose this great topic in 4 big points. The first point is about to describe properly Esau and Jacob in explaining their character and their life. The second point is about to talk abundantly about the birthright. The third point is about to describe why we can say that Jacob is the most visionary and why we can say that Esau is the most idiot. We will talk about our lessons of today in the 4 points. So we can start. Who was Esau? You certainly know him as the eldest son of Isaac and Rebekah in his twin birth with Jacob. Before, after 20 years without having any child, he is the basic ancestor of the Edomites who lived in Seir in Genesis chapter 36 indicates us. Scientists go so far to say that he was the ancestor of the Canaanites and the Amalekites. The Constitution reveals us that he was an avid hunter and loved to eat red meat. The Constitution reveals again about him that he was also had very brutal qualities and manners, that the color of his hair was was reddish. His name seems to mean in ancient Hebrew red and hairy, and he's related to his appearance at birth. His name is present for 90 times in the Constitution, and that is really important when you are talking about someone weight of the story about that person, around that person, or maybe the number of times that the name of that person is cited in the Constitution to understand the importance of the lessons concerning that person in your life. And let me say for the end that Esau is undoubtedly the one who does things without weighing consequences. So let us go to know who was Jacob. You know him as the second-born son of Isaac and Rebekah in his twin birth with Esau. He is the basic ancestor of the Israelites because God changed his name. The Constitution reveals that he was a simple man, and that is a special education. So we can say that he was Ishtar, written like that, ISH space TAM, to qualify this peaceful nature that Jacob had. So this is why the Constitution marks the blow by saying that he lived in tents. His name means in ancient Hebrew, hail or warm God favors, or maybe supplanter if you want. And the one weight of his name takes on a meaning that Esau raises his voice in tears when he realizes that his father blessed Jacob instead of him. You certainly know that he married Laban's two daughters, Leah and Rachel, and gave children also to the maids of these two wives in a childbearing war related to his preference for Rachel. You also know that he had 12 sons who became really famous and important on earth in the history of the past and in the history of the present world. He experienced a masterful sorrow when he lost Joseph in the idea that he was dead. He lost Rachel, his lifelong love. He joined Egypt under the governance of his newfound Joseph. He made a promise that his bones would be returned to the midst of his people to Egypt. God changed his name, as we were saying previously, from Jacob to Israel, making him a supplanter to a prince of God, like his beloved grandmother Sarah, a princess. Remember that we were talking about that special fact concerning Sarah, who came from Sarai, a simple no one woman like that, to Sarah, a man with a name meaning princess. And that is the same thing with Jacob, coming from Jacob to Azrael, meaning prince of God. Jacob struggled with God. He was a very right now we are talking about business. He was a very profitable man in terms of breeding, managing his father-in-law's resources, and persevering in his work to achieve his goals. Many commentators say of him that he was fearful and timid and even devious because he was the case. Of the protagonist of this day's teaching. So let's talk about the right of inheritance. In a religion, the right of descent or the right of inheritance, depending of the word that you are preferring, is a question that animates many passions. But more and more, you will see that the devil has obscured the meaning of this expression in the world, in the mindset of people. Indeed, he knows the privileges to be lost behind the non-respect of this fundamental rule and wants to push the world into ignorance because of it. We are here to contrast the facts of the word with the truth of the kingdom, the original truth, because MBNK News TV is the voice of the kingdom, and that is our face, that is our mission. The birthright is a birthright of the firstborn child over his brothers. The birthright confers all or most of the property of the household to the firstborn, meaning the elder, according to the culture of the time of Esau and Jacob. I say it like that because today we have, in the consideration of the birthright, that world of today is considering daughter. So when you are a girl and that you are the firstborn, you are sometimes considered, um, and when you are a boy and that you are a firstborn, you are considered. All is depending of your country, all is depending of the culture in your country. So if you are a firstborn, remember that it is really important to understand the value of your position. If you understand the value of your position, it is more easy for you to do not do mistake about your position, because you will understand that that position is not obvious. It's not just like that. God God didn't give you that position just like that. God had a plan, and if God had a plan behind your birth, you can you must be really aware of it and open your eyes to understand what is happening behind your birth and behind your firstborning position. So we were talking about the birthright, and I just want to clarify that the birthright is also the privilege of the eldest son, also called the right of primogeniture. Primo, to explain that, is in Latin, primo, the word first in Latin. So geniture is concerning the birth. So primogeniture. The birthright is also the inheritance of the family. At that time, the tradition was that the eldest son should inherit. And today we're talking about daughter too. So what was the eldest to inherit? The eldest could inherit the burden of the father's covenants, the property and responsibilities of the fathers, the burden of distribution to the others, brothers. And the birthright occupies an important place in all societies until today. The proof is that you only have to look at the first of everything. It still has a lot of pressure. The right of birthright is spoken, the right of descent is spoken of in all types of births and social units, in family, in initiatives with high social potential, in the communities, in companies, in all types of gatherings, and so on. The right of eldership does not really take into account the level of your education, your social, your financial resources, because the elder remains the elder, and regardless of the time and of circumstances. The elder is relative to the firstborn in families and simply is relative to the first in a system. So if you are the first in a system, you are under the birth right, and that is really important. So let's talk about our third point concerning the fact that we want to understand why Jacob is the most visionary and why Esau is the most stupid concerning that conflicts, Jacob versus Esau, the enemy brothers. To understand clearly what happens between Esau and Jacob, let's go back briefly to the characteristics that the Constitution gives us about each of them. For Esau, we speak of a man of the fields, fiery, hunting, yes, fury and hunting. So with a lesser capacity to plan a number of things compared to his brother, who is a simple man, really calm, always at rest in tents. But where is the mistake hidden? The mistake is in Esau. Indeed, his mistake was to have sold his birthright to his younger brother Jacob in exchange for food. So he compromised, not that Jacob took him by force. No, Jacob did not take the birthright of Esau by force. Esau sell his birthright to his brother because of food. Because of food. Let me clarify the word compromise. Compromise. According to the Leroux's dictionary, the verb compromise is the action of compromising with one's conscience or principles by accepting certain accommodations with other people for one's personal interest, ambition, passions. It is also, I think, a kind of arrangement that benefits us in one way or another. Compromise has always had consequences that we certainly don't measure at the time when we are compromising. And Esau, I think, is well placed to testify to this. I think that since the beginning, when we are talking about the story of the humanity since Adam, I think that compromising is is a plan of the kingdom of devil, and he is thinking every time how we can living in compromise, how we can live in compromission. Sorry. So if we understand clearly what is happening in the darkness, we can fight against the compromission in our life. We can avoid the compromission, and that is really important because when we are in front of the compromission, we are always in front what we are really in love and what we can lose. So we can lose something that is really important, something that is building our authority, something that is building our position, something that is building our life, something that is really useful for our future because of compromission. And we are able to compromise because of food. If food is our sin, we are able to compromise because of sex, because of money, because maybe I don't know, but because of something we are in need when we are just right now in front of the compromission. That is really important. I think that based of based to experience, I think that it's so be really full was very full of regrets, very full of regrets, yes. And in that he can be really able to testify to this that the compromission is not equal to and when we're living the time we can realize that it's really important to understand what is happening in our life each time because I know that the evil, the enemy, is always working to make us climb every time. So Esau's arrangement with was so the elder brother sold his birthright in exchange for food. And Esau has despised the birthright, not realizing the significance of his heart. He never changed, he never imagined for a moment that it could disqualify him and and prejudice him at the time of the blessing. He took this as something really trivial, and yet the blessing of the father is attached to the birthright. And Jacob had certainly already observed that his brother did not take many things seriously. I think he was, I think that Jacob was the modest favorite because of that tranquility he had. So was his father's favorite because of the fact that he needs, and that is written in the Constitution when we are reading Genesis chapter 32. So we must read a text to understand clearly what was happening. Let's read together how the conflict between the two brothers started at that moment. We will read Genesis chapter 25, verse 29 to 34. Let's start by that reading. And it came to pass as Jacob was cooking soup that Esau returned from the field, weary. And Esau said to Jacob, please let me eat of this red wine, for I'm tired. That is why Esau was called Edom, because Edom means red. Yes, Edom means red. And Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright. You are seeing, Esau is tired because of hunting, and he's coming just near of Jacob to ask a lentil soup. And Jacob don't just accept to give it like that. Jacob is looking for that manner that Esau have to do not consider anything really seriously, and he's trying something. He's trying to take something that is really important by giving something that is not really important. By giving food, he's taking a birthright. So let us continue to read. And Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am going to die. What profit is this birthright to me? That is the assessment done by Esau. What profit is this birthright to me? And Jacob said, swear to me first. And Esau swore to him, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. He sold it. He sold. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil soup. And that's all. Give me your birthright, and I give you my lentil soup. That's all. Give me, um, um, give me, give me your integrity, and I will give you money. Give me, give me your virginity, and I will give you love. I don't know, maybe love. I don't know, but give me your purity, and I will give you a great life, and I will give you a car, and I will give you a house. What's happening? What is happening? Give me your birthright, and I will give you a lentil soup. And he gave him bread and a lentil soup. And Esau ate and drank, then got up and went away. So Esau despised the birthright. And you are not really aware of that, I don't know, but Esau, when he did that act, he did not realize at that time that he did a big mistake. After the time, he didn't realize really quickly that he did a big mistake. But let us continue. Today, how many of us, like Esau, have sold what is valuable? Integrity, conviction, belief, faith, for ephemeral, just a little thing, really ephemeral and worthless things. Does this exchange have any real value now, today? Now, when Esau and his younger brother Jacob were concluding the birthright, Isaac, their father, was not informed. And you know that Esau was his favorite son. Esau was his favorite son because Isaac liked it to eat red meat. And he liked Esau because he was a hunter. And it was really important for him because Esau was his firstborn. And when Esau and Jacob were concluding the birthright, Isaac, the father, was not informed. So at the time of the blessing, not knowing that Esau had sold his birthright to his younger brother Jacob, he naturally calls the older son Esau. And in the divine plan, it was indeed the eldest one that is destined to receive the blessing from his father. But it is more than important to point out that Jacob never stole Esau's blessing. Esau sold it to him and immediately forgot what happens, hence his renunciation of his birthright, and the proof that he really didn't care about anything, and that he really did have to roll away of seeing his own existence. Nevertheless, we agree that even if he is not a thief, Jacob, whose name literally means supplanter, used cunning to seduce his elder brother. The birthright cannot be sold, and this proposal to his brother at the age of his physical weakness has everything of indecency. I don't I don't encourage them. If you are watching that video, if you are the second son, I don't encourage you to trying to convince your elder brother to it's not really fair. You should be really aware because you must protect each other. You must protect your husband. It's really important to do not destroy your family. It is therefore not example to be encouraged and taking advantage of the weakness of your son. So this is also to not change the name Jacob, to remove his legal perfidy in him, because of the surrender. But in the future, in beginning, right, Jacob where the cross of God, because I mean the praise of God. So towards the end of the story, Esau, Jacob goes to meet his brother and gives him gifts to bury the hatchet of Esau. After running away from him to live and avoid his work thanks to his mother, he finds himself in a situation where he ends up meeting his main adversary, his brother. And his way of dealing with the problem of the past with him is just masterful. So let's summarize this and find out our lessons to learn. We have started with this first episode with the conflict between two Esau and Jacob. Since the beginning, we were living that conflict, and now we are able to find out what are the true keys behind this exciting story. They were finally fathers of two big nations, Edomites and Israelites. Thank you, Abba Father, for that special understanding, because I know that when I were talking and before lessons that I will give for you, you have certainly find your own lesson for your own life. Your friends, your neighbor, your family, your father, your mother has certainly find his own lesson for his life. So lessons of today for me are Jacob had a sense of strategy and observation, and this was due to his time spent in quietude and intent. So, to succeed in any action, it is more than important to keep your mind in quietness. And this state is possible at all times through the study of the Constitution. No one should condition you by food or shape you because many times in the Bible, many people lost something precious, either because of food or because of wine. Remember of Noah, remember of Adam and Eve, remember now Esau, remember of Moses. So many people lose something that's really important because of a little mistake, something really ephemeral. So just pay attention. No one, no one, no one should condition us. That is really important. That is really important to understand for our daily life. Never take any detail or word that someone said to you in your exchanges. Let's not be like Esau, who spontaneously said yes I will give you my birthright. That is not really important for me. Give me that soup, give me that bread, I will eat, and so on and so on. No. Esau said spontaneously yes, immediately, and did not even back down from this request from Jacob. That's right. If you are well positioned, just to know your position, to know the position of your elder, if you're the elder, and if you're the elder, to know your own position. Do not sell your birthright. Do not sell your price. If your price is your purity, if your price is your faith, if your price is your conviction, if your price is something that's really valuable for your daily life and for your eternity, do not lose it because of money or because of food or because of wine or because I don't know what. Do not lose it. But I know that there was a plan behind that, behind the fact that it was Jacob who was the favorite at the end of that story. God didn't choose anything for anyone. It was Rebecca who was very protective with her son Jacob. But if it was the will of Isaac, if it was the will of Isaac, Esau will be Israel today. Esau will be Israel if it was the will of Isaac. So I think that it is the plan. It is the plan of God that something like that happened to to show you that by using a kind of strategy, sometimes God is able to accomplish something that is really important for you, for your life, for your generation, because God is always seeing you as the nation. And you're seeing Esau go back to marry Ishmaelite girls, and that was not really fair because you know that Isaac and Ishmael were not really relatives. They were not really near, and the minds of the minds of uh, um, the mind of the mother of Esau was really in the sadness because of the Canaanite woman and the Ishmaelite woman married to Esau, and that was really a difficult step because I know that Esau did that just to push pressure on his mother, just to put pressure on his father. And in the event of a dispute or seeing what is happening between Esau and between Jacob, use Jacob's faith that we were talking at the end of that life. Go to your opponent as you get closer to him, showing your good faith to resolve matters. Lay down your weapons and send gifts at least twice until he loses the strength of his hunger. We will have in the future many more characters like that. Previously, we were talking about Abraham, Isaac, and now we are talking about Jacob and Esau. And I know that in the next few days, we will have again incredible stories and incredible lessons. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being connected during this live and this series. And thank you so much to connected to Mamata Broadcast Network. Do you already follow us on our platforms? That is the moment. If you are on YouTube, thank you for putting that blue thumb. Put that blue thumb to activate the bell to receive all our news. If you discover our page on Facebook, then subscribe and like our page. If you are on Rumble and maybe on YouTube, like and share. If you are on Podbean, you can like and share, and you can subscribe to not any notifications concerning activate the bell, activate it to be always with us. Talk about Mamlaka Broadcast Network around you. If you are in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in America, I don't know, wherever you are, talk about Mamlaka Broadcast Network, the voice of the kingdom. Leave us a tweet because we are on Twitter also. And don't forget to follow us on BitChutes. What could I say? Again, it is just to share our content and invite your friends to our page. You can tag them, remember to stay focused in every moment of this life. And let us see at the top where eagles are living, where eagles are flying. Amen. Bye bye.